Fret.
Drop the weapon! Hi everybody, I'm Tim Bulot and welcome to weaponsacademy.com. This is episode 6 of Ammo Shortage, and in this episode we're going to talk about lateral movement. Now, when we go to the range, we may practice moving forward and we may practice moving in reverse, but how many times do we actually practice moving side to side? And why would we want to practice moving side to side? Well, in this episode we're going to get right into those very reasons and give you an abundance of ideas on why you need to keep lateral movement in your list of options if movement is required. Now, in my high-risk patrol tactics course, one of the categories that we discuss is one of the important survival considerations is maneuvers. We talk about vehicle maneuvers as well as foot maneuvers and teamwork maneuvers, okay? So like I said, forward and back, side to side, and then on diagonals, okay? So this one we're going to specialize on side to side. Now there's more than one way to do it, and as you'll see as we get into the program, situation, space, and terrain is going to dictate which one you need to do or if you need to do it at all. So anyway, you can practice this at home. The first part of the video I'm going to show you how, so get ready for it and let's get into it. Okay, so there's times in a confrontation when we have to move, okay? So generally we practice moving forward and reverse on the range quite a bit when we run our live fire drills, but how often do we practice any lateral movement or actually moving to the side, okay? So there's times when you may have to shift left or shift right, and I'm not talking moving across targets, I'm just talking a body shift to either the left or the right side. Now some of those reasons may be that perhaps you have an angle of delivery that you need to obtain, and by moving from behind an object that will give you a clear shot at your opponent, okay? Another reason may be is that you are caught during a reload or a malfunction, okay? And if your opponent is armed, instead of standing there with a non-serviceable weapon, as you either reload or fix your malfunction, you can body shift left or body shift right, either direction, to make yourself a harder target, so to speak, okay? And reasons such as that, okay? You may be unholstering, you have a close threat, okay? And you simply want to get offline to unholster. But those are some of the drills that we're going to look at. And again, staying with our theme of we are in a ammo shortage during this crisis, the COVID-19 crisis. So we're gonna fire a minimum amount of rounds, and we're still gonna stage and press, okay? Now, in my opinion, if you need to move, you need to body shift left or body shift right in a confrontation. It's not good enough to do it just any old way. There is a technique to it, and those of you that know me know I'm a martial artist, so I'm going to teach it the same way because in my opinion it's no different, okay? So to me your options are to shuffle or to cross over, okay, which is actually taking a step. Now your space and your terrain and your situation are all going to dictate what you need to do, and you know you're going to have to work within that, okay? So if you're in a hallway, obviously you're not going to move very much, if any at all. Or if you're protecting someone, by moving you may give that person up to your enemy, whereas you're supposed to be protecting them, but it's a situation more of a one-on-one or it's a mobile situation if it requires. I'm going to body shift, okay? So let's take a look at shuffles first, okay? Now shuffle is going to be the minimum amount of space. So if I go to my right, I'm simply going to step and drag, and if I go to my left, I'm simply going to step and drag, and that's just basically a short, brief motion. Let's watch it again. To the right, step and drag, and to the left, step and drag. Now, if I need a little bit more space, I can launch myself by pushing and dragging to the right and then back to the left, okay? Now, once again, that doesn't cover a lot of ground, but in some situations, it may be better than just being stationary, okay? I prefer to cross over if my environment permits. And by crossing, there's basically two ways. I can do a front crossover or a rear crossover. So if I cross to the right and I do a front crossover by putting my left leg in front of my right, because of the position of my stance, my right leg is back just a little bit, this is going to move me in a straight line, okay? 1, 2. And as you can see, I can cover more ground with that crossover. Let's look at it again. I'm going to cross right, cross and step out, okay? And I'm basically in my same shooting position, but I've moved a yard or even perhaps further in distance, okay, from where I originally was, okay? And if you practice that enough, where you can get, fast at it and so forth, okay, it may be all the advantage that you need. Now, that was a cross in front. Now, notice, if I cross behind, it's going to take me away at an angle because of the position of my stance. As I step out, all right, I am further away and back at an angle. Okay, it's the same if we go to the left. If I cross behind going to the left, it moves me in a straight line, like so. But if I cross in front going to my left, it moves me more at an angle and slightly closer, okay? So, if I want to keep my line even, if I'm going basically, if you're at 12, if I'm going on a line from the side from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock on a clock principle, if I go to the right, okay, I want to cross in front, okay? And if I go to the left, I want to cross behind, okay? So I'm going to shift right, cross front, shift left, cross behind. Shift right, cross in front, shift left, cross behind, okay? Now, after we get fluid at that, we have to add the draw stroke with that if we're going to do it for an unholstering type technique. So I'm going to give you a minute to practice that, and when we come back, we're going to take a look at unholstering during that crossover step. Okay, now that we've become fluid with the movement, crossing left and crossing right, let's add a draw, for instance. Now, my weapon has been checked and cleared. Everybody here has checked it. There's nothing in it, okay? But still, I'm going to face to the side because I want you to see the movement from that angle, and also because that's my safe area in which I can dry fire if I need to, okay? So, now, why would I need to cross and draw, okay? If I am faced with a very close-in threat, okay, and maybe my threat has a little bit of an advantage, they've got the drop on me being that they're armed, knife, pistol, firearm, whatever, I may need to get my body out of their line of attack, at the same time get an angle in which I can return fire. Okay, that's one reason. And another reason we may look at is perhaps I have an obstacle in front of me. Maybe it's a crowd, active shooter crowd situation, and I have to move from behind an obstacle to have a shot, or I have to move from behind a person to have a shot. So those are other other reasons. Now, like I said, it's not just good enough to do it any old way. And so here's some things that I see that are wrong, okay? I'll see the student, they'll body shift and then they'll draw, okay? All right? And then I'll see the student that draws and then they body shift, okay? All right? So that could be fixed just with training, okay? So let's watch the count on it. On the count of 1, I'm going to actually make my step, okay? My support hand goes to the chest, okay? Keep it safe, position to unite, and my grip hand grips the pistol. So 1 looks like this, and as I step out on 2, as I settle into my stance, I'm on target with a good presentation. And that's where we're going with this, okay? Let's look at it again, breaking it down by the count. Stand by, 1, 2. Good, and that gets us on target, okay? So as we become more fluid, it's going to look like this. Slow, and you want to work that until you get smoother and faster with it. Again, stand by. Cross and punch out. Now, if I go to my left, and I'll do it at a bit of an angle here, nothing really changes, okay? I just simply cross behind and I punch out with the pistol, okay? And as I explained, this may be all the space that I need to get me offline and save me during a close-in confrontation. Okay, now we're going to utilize a crossover maneuver with the combat reload. And if you look back at one of the last episodes that we did, we covered in depth different ideas on that combat reload, okay? So now, let's taking it on the idea that I have a close-in threat, and after I fired my last round, my pistol has locked to the rear. Now, once again, magazines have been checked and cleared, okay? So, instead of just doing a stationary reload, all right, I'm going to make myself a moving obstacle, a moving target. And I hate using the word target, but that is what I am at this point. I'm locked back, my opponent's slightly out of range, so I can't transition to another means of defense or attack. So I want to get offline. And as I do that, okay, as I cross, that magazine drops, and as I step out, I insert, and I'm right back on target again. Okay? And if you go back to last week's episode, or maybe 2 weeks back, whatever it is, okay, you'll see how these two techniques actually fit together, okay? So by linking these techniques, the crossover method with the combat reload, we can implement that angle change and at the same time get back in the fight. So once again, okay, nice and fluid, okay, as I cross, magazine out, mag in, slide forward, and I'm right back on target, simply by changing my position there, okay? And another excuse to use this may be that I have an object or a person in front of me, okay? And I need to off angle so I have a shot around that object or that person that's in front of me, okay? So with this in mind, we're gonna take the crossover out onto the range and we're gonna run through some drills and some ideas to give you something to practice on next time you're at the range. All right, Terry, so once again, we're making a video and it's raining on us. We're getting to know this little area here pretty good, right? So, okay, here's what we're gonna do first, Terry. We're gonna do just a slow crossover, and we're gonna link it with the draw stroke, kind of breaking it down into 2 counts for right now. Okay. And we're just gonna fire one well-placed center mass hit using that stage and press on the trigger so we can go back and reiterate on a lot of the concepts that we covered in the previous episodes. Good enough?
Sounds good.
All right, I'll do one first to kind of set the standard here. Slow and easy, okay? So I'm going to break this down, okay? We're going to cross right using that front crossover, okay? And on 1, hand to the chest, grip hand to the pistol. And on 2, as we settle, we'll punch out and make our shot, okay? Terry, whenever you're ready, give me a standby threat.
Standby. Threat.
1 and 2. Stage and press. Good. I notice I got that lock back in there, so I just kind of shifted again. I didn't really have room for a full crossover, so I just did a little body shift in there again, kind of without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay? And so forth. All right? All right, let's try it again. All right? Sticking with it. All right, whenever you're ready, Terry.
Standby. Threat.
Good. Second time that's happened. Try that again.
Standby. Threat.
Okay, so that's basically the idea. So Terry, we'll go ahead and put you up, let you run a couple of those there. Okay, just slow and easy, just kind of hardwire the maneuver in. Shooter ready.
Ready.
Stand by. Threat. Good, and scan. Now to me, you covered more than a yard by doing that, okay? So that yard may be all you need to, like I said, to get offline and save you with a close-in threat. Okay, let's realign, let's do it again. Taking your time, stand by, threat. Scan. And let's get one more. Good. Stand by, threat. Nice. Okay, so now that we've gone right, we're going to go to the left a couple times and work on that one. Now remember, for me, when I go to the left, I go behind because the natural posture of my shooting stance, this pushes me left in a straight line, okay? So the timing is just the same as stepping right. The only difference is a step. And like I said, it's not good enough to do it any old way. You've got to practice a method, or under stress, you're gonna draw on what you've practiced. And if that's nothing, that's what you got, okay? All right, Terry, I'm ready. We're gonna go with one shot, just a stage and press.
Stand by. Threat.
So we cross, step out and punch. Good. Let's try it again.
Stand by. Threat.
All right, so a little bit more fluid on that, but I still took time to stage and press every shot. Terry, let's get you to run through a couple of those. Come on up, it's good practice. All right, so just do kind of a slow one first, break it down by the count, and then after that, just a little by little more fluid. 1 round, stand by, threat. Again, 1 round, stand by, threat. Nice, good timing on that one. All right, Terry, one more. A little bit more fluid on this one. But remember, stage and press the trigger. And you know, that's an error, you know, not cutting in on you, but that's an error a lot of people make, is they'll try to, you know, do like a tactic really fast and it throws their fundamentals of shooting out the window. So we want to try to preserve that while we add the movement. Stand by, threat. Nice. Okay, now we're going to cross during a combat reload. Okay, so the situation is I fired the last round, my slide's locked to the rear, there's nothing in my magazine, and I've got a close-in threat that's got the advantage. I need to move and reload simultaneously. I'm too far away to affect some kind of other immediate action, so this is all I got. So we're going to start this one at a high ready. Now, this is just a 4-round drill. We're just going to do 1 and 1 for right now. And if you go back to a couple episodes back where we did the combat reload, draw on that information there. I hope you've practiced that because you're going to need it in this episode. So I'm going to take the first one by the numbers, okay? All right, Terry, we're going to start this one from a high ready.
Stand by. Threat.
All right, nice and smooth on that. Now I'm going to come back and do the rear crossover, okay? And I'm going to body shift to the left on that. Once again, starting from a high ready.
Stand by. Threat.
All right, Terry, 1 and 1, body shift right, combat reload, okay? And time it, okay? When you make your step, that mag should be hitting the ground. 1 and 1, taking your time. Shooter ready.
Ready.
Stand by. Threat. Stage and press. Perfect timing. That was fluid on that slide release also. All right, Terry, we're going to body shift left with our combat reload. Shoot 1, reload, shoot 1, utilizing the body shift. Doing a rear crossover on this one as it'll keep you moving in a straight line. Good to go?
Good to go.
Shooter ready. Stand by. Threat. Okay, so this is an immediate action drill. So basically I've got my pistol set up. There's nothing in the chamber, but I've got ammo in the magazine, so I'm gonna get a click and no bang. And I'm gonna body shift right. Now watch the timing on this because it's important that we get that timing down correct. I don't wanna body shift and then conduct my tap in my rack. And all the same, I don't wanna conduct my tap in my rack and then body shift. I want to do the 2 moves together. I want to do the body shift with the immediate action drill. Now, like I said earlier, you can do crossovers or you can do shuffles. They both work. I'm going to do a shuffle this time. It's not going to move me as far, but nevertheless, it's still going to get my body slightly offline with my attacker as I affect my immediate action drill. All right, Terry, I'm ready.
Stand by. Threat.
All right, Terry, I'm going to body shift left using the shuffle, and I am ready.
Stand by. Threat.
Good, and you saw the timing on that. I did the shuffle with the immediate action drill, not before it, not after, but I did them together. All right, Terry, this is going to be immediate action drill, body shift right, and we're just utilizing the shuffle this time. We're not doing a full crossover, okay, with your tap and your rack. Okay, go to the right for the first time. Get that click, off angle, and then remember, stage and press on your shot. Stand by, threat. All right, Terry, one more. We're going to body shift left, just using that push drag shuffle, going to the left with your immediate action drill. Shooter ready?
Ready.
Stand by, threat. Good, nice center mass hit. Okay, so let's up the stakes a little bit. Okay, now I've got a person between myself and the threat, so I need to utilize this method to give me a shot, give me an angle of delivery to my target, but at the same time, I need to get out from behind this individual here. We can't shoot through them, and I need sufficient space to endanger this person. Now, this could be an active shooter situation. This could be a loved one or family member. It doesn't really matter, but nevertheless, I need to off angle, get from behind this individual and get a shot on my threat, okay? And like I said, it's just an idea. You can change this and modify it at will, okay? We're gonna go with 2 shots this time. We're gonna stage and press both shots because I wanna keep with the fundamentals, but at the same time, okay, execute the tactics. All right, Terry, I am ready. I'm going to the right first.
Stand by. Threat.
Good. All right, let's try that again. And let's go to the left, to the left. This will be the rear crossover.
Stand by. Threat.
Good. And back to the right again.
Stand by. Threat.
Drop the weapon! Okay, so I got a bit more dynamic on that last one. Still staging and pressing that trigger, but I added a verbal in there to somewhat distract my attacker or his attacker and divert their attention toward me as I return fire, okay? So practice on that. We're gonna let Terry run a couple of runs with it now. All right, Terry, so you've got a live body in front of you. You got to get out and get on line with your attacker to give you an angle of delivery for your shot. So we'll go body shift right first. Do the first one slow and easy. We're going to go with 2 shots. I still want you to stage and press every shot, sticking with the fundamentals. Shooter ready? Stand by. Threat. Good, and reholster. All right, let's set it up. Let's go left this time. Left, those were really good shots. Don't change anything, just body shift left. Shooter ready? Stand by, threat. All right, Terry, let's do one more, going to the right. Go ahead and throw your verbal in there, okay? Pick up your foot movement a little bit, but make your shots accurately, still stage and press, adhering to the fundamentals. Shooter ready?
Ready.
Stand by, threat!
Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Nice. All right, Terry, so practicing a little bit of body shifts, crossover, shuffles, things of that nature. You know, like I said, in my opinion, it's just not good enough to do it any old way. It goes back to you getting that confrontation. You're gonna draw on what you've practiced.
Right.
Okay.
And dialing back to the basics every time it keeps you consistent. So it was nice linking everything together with the combat reloads, with the displacements, and tying it all together. You still don't have to put a ton of rounds out to get the same effect. Working around the mannequin.
Right, and you know, since you brought it up on those basics, we see this on the range a lot. You know, we'll have them nice and tight with their groups, working stationary. As soon as we put that movement in there, those groups do what?
Yeah, they open up.
They open up.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's too much. And this goes back to how many times have we heard the critics out there say, well, you always have to be moving and all your training should be dynamic, but you're not going to have good quality dynamic training if you don't break things down like what we're doing here.
Right. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Have to.
So we're good enough. All right, so that's a little bit on movement. We're going to have more of this coming. Give you something to work on there. I use maybe 20 rounds.
Maybe.
Okay,
Tops.
yeah. Okay, so we're getting some good quality training in, working those fundamentals without expending a lot of ammo. We'll see you on the next episode. Okay, so I hope you got something out of that. We certainly enjoyed bringing you that information and presenting this for you. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, what's up with the lockbacks, the interim lockbacks there? Okay, so I've switched over to a Glock Gen 5, if you heard me speak of on other programs, and it's got an ambidextrous slide lock on it. And the ambi slide lock is an enhanced slide lock at that. It means it's larger than a standard slide lock for that particular model. And what happens is, because I have a high grip, and a high grip is a good grip, it gives you more leverage, but I have a high grip and the slide lock makes contact with this knuckle right here, and thus causing it to lock to the rear during the process of cycling when I'm not on the last round. So that's something I'm going to have to work out. Actually, what I'm waiting for is just to give it a little bit of time and see if Glock comes up with a or somebody comes up with an aftermarket part. But anyway, so wrapping up the program this week, lateral movement, we covered crossover, we covered the shuffle step. And as some of you know me, as I teach this, I don't teach it any different to shooting students as I would to a martial arts student. I don't see the reason why I should modify the technique, okay? And it's something that you can take some time out and just practice it in the living room. Use a safety weapon, or definitely conduct a thorough safety check on your pistol and practice it with the draw, practice it with the combat reload, practice it with the immediate action drill, and then you can see how it will lead into a body protection drill, or if we need to change positions to get that better angle of delivery. If you're not training, you ought to be. If you're not training at Weapons Academy, come check us out and see what we're doing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you on the next episode.